Over the last few days, two trailers were leaked with the Insomniac Games canceled Spider-Man multiplayer game called Marvel Spider-Man: The Great Web. This still may be part of the fallout of the recent hack where Insomniac Games' project pipeline for the next 10 years was leaked. Insomniac Games has publicly confirmed that this game was cancelled, but here is why fans should not give up with thinking we are not getting a multiplayer Spider-Man game. Fans know that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been trying to use the multiverse as its next big saga, but it hasn't been performing to the expectations of the Infinity Saga. One thing we haven't seen is a modern video game title attempt to implement the Marvel Multiverse. Before we dive further, let's examine all the known details about Spider-Man: The Great Web. First, players would be able to travel the multiverse as any of the main Spider-Verse heroes such as Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, and Miguel O'Hara. Players would team up with their friends to battle iconic Spider-Man villains from the Sinister Six such as Doc Ock, Mysterio, and Venom. This is just from looking at the concept art that was leaked. One recent discovery was that the way players would travel the multiverse was through the Scarlet Witch and her powers to open portals to access the different universes. This is important because it hints at what I think something bigger. When Marvel Spider-Man 2 debuted last year, it broke so many sales records for Sony and Marvel just as a single-player game. I think us fans are looking at this too small, while Insomniac has the larger picture in mind with Marvel. And that is, why would you stop at just Spider-Man? Another project that Insomniac Games has that is nearing completion is a Wolverine game, which means Insomniac was given the green light to start creating games with the X-Men. Going back to Spider-Man, the Avengers Tower and the Fantastic Four's Baxter Building have made their way into the game, which means that Insomniac has already laid the foundation to bring in more heroes, which is exactly what I think they're doing. Ultimately, I think that Spider-Man: The Great Web was cancelled to allow for the talented team at Insomniac Games to make a Marvel Multiverse game with all the major superhero organizations. With a design like this, Insomniac would be able to continuously release new content and DLCs without the requirement of making a whole new game for consumers to purchase. Instead, they can start with Spider-Man and some members of the X-Men, such as Wolverine, then, say in a few years' time when the Fantastic Four MCU movie comes out, they can introduce the Fantastic Four into the mix. The core gameplay will be the same while giving players the opportunity to create those fantasy team-ups that never happened. Imagine we get to see Miles Morales working with the Human Torch, or Gwen Stacy teaming up with Jean Grey. Players can have Miguel O'Hara's futuristic knowledge combined with Reed Richards' great intellect, or even Tony Stark. The point is, I think fans should remain optimistic about the future of Marvel-related projects coming from Insomniac Games. The team is extremely talented and has been incredibly successful with their work on the Spider-Man games. Just because the Great Web game was cancelled doesn't mean we are not getting any multiplayer games. We will just have to wait a little bit longer to find out. I invite more discussion and to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Until then, have a great rest of your day, wherever you may be.